Hello, hi. I'm still
Good
admitting
morning.
people. Good morning. Boker Tov. Okay, I think I got everybody and everybody is connected. Okay, all right. Hello, hi. So shalom and Boker Tov. Boker Tov means good morning. Shalom means hi, bye, and peace. Ani Dina, Shmi Dina. My name is Dina. So I'll begin by introducing myself, and then I'll give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself and say, where you're from, maybe some details about you and why you're taking Hebrew, like what, okay. So just for you to get to know me, I'm originally from Israel. I moved to Indianapolis 30 years ago. The reason why I moved here was to teach Hebrew. There used to be a Bureau of Jewish Education. The Bureau of Jewish Education actually shut down 5 years ago, and then I moved to Beth-El. What I do at Beth-El, I'm the Hebrew coordinator there. So I do both teaching and I coordinate the classes and I do the materials and all of that. In addition, I'm actually a professor at IUPUI. I'm in the communication department, so I teach communication, not necessarily Hebrew. And I do some other things. I have a very, very extensive life, but I will tell you later on. So personally, I am married. I've been married for 27 years. I have one son. He is 20, and he actually used to be a madrich at Beth-El also. And now he works at a JCC, so we are both very much involved in Jewish education and all of that. Hobbies. I love to travel and I play tennis and I read a lot. So I just hope that you kind of got to know me a little bit. Feel free to ask me any kind of questions. As far as education, you really need to know what my education, I'm sorry. So as far as education, actually my bachelor is in English linguistics and literature, not in Hebrew. And my master's is from Butler University in telecommunication arts. So now you're wondering how I know how to teach Hebrew. Obviously, Hebrew is my first language, but because I studied linguistics and I did take some Hebrew linguistics, I do have some educational background on how to teach it. So, okay, now it is your turn, and I guess the first one can go, and then you can call the next person, and you can just introduce yourself, so we will get to know each other, and then I'll talk a little bit about the format of the class. Okay, so who wants to go first?
I don't have my picture up there, so I guess I'll go first. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. My name's Ron Kasef. I don't know why I don't have my picture on there. I'm not sure how it works. Anyway, I'm from Carmel, Indiana, which is a suburb of Indianapolis. I'm retired. And the reason I wanted to take this, I read Hebrew. First of all, I don't understand what I'm reading. It's been so many years. I'm 81, so I don't remember Hebrew school that many years ago. And I just had problems remembering all the vowels and the consonants. So I just want to be able to read it smoother and easier. And then after that, hopefully try to learn some of the Hebrew words. So at least when you pray, I understand what I'm saying. Right now I'm reading Hebrew and I could be saying anything and I don't know. So that's my goal. So I don't know if you want anything else besides that.
Okay, perfect. All right, Ron, you can call the next person and then the next person will speak.
Okay, how's Kelly?
So, hi, Ron. I'm Kelly. Ron, did you see the buttons on the top, there's one that's got a microphone and one that's got a video. Do you see those?
I have something on the bottom. It
Oh,
says,
yeah, yours will be on the bottom.
says
Try
start,
clicking,
start video.
try that one.
Yes, yeah.
Yep,
Hey,
so we can
okay.
see it.
got half
And
of me
then
anyway.
when you don't want to talk, you can hit the little microphone. It'll say mute. And then you could, so if you look at everybody else's names, their microphones are red. Right?
Yes.
And so, and if you click that one, then it will mute you so we don't hear, you know, if you need to, you know,
I
if you
understand.
need, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
no worries. So hi everybody, I'm Kelly. What you may not know about me is I run Zoom a lot with little kids who don't know how to necessarily run Zoom. So there are some Zoomity Zoom things that I can do like that. So I actually own my own business in Brownsburg, Indiana. I own a Kumon after school math and learning center. So yeah, my life is weird, but then I work a lot. But I think, so I have been in the Indianapolis area for the majority of my life. This is my second time through Dina's class. The first time was probably the most eye-opening experience that ever happened for me as far as teaching little kids to read in English, because all of the exercises that I had always done because someone told me they were good for the kids really made sense when I was learning, after practicing learning letters that look so similar but weren't the same. And so learning how to improve my just your print awareness and then communicating that to smaller people was really awesome. So thank you, Dina. You didn't know you made my business better. But I will say my first time through was very, very frustrating because, you know, when you're a very, very beginner, one, just like Ron said, it's hard to read things when you don't have a vocabulary, right? And this, but at the same time, building this letter recognition, I actually read things when they're written in Hebrew better than I do when they're transliterated, right? That's the right word, when they're written in English characters, but in the Hebrew words, it makes more sense to me. But of course, I don't have enough words yet to actually have it all make sense. And of course, I still don't know all my vowels either, Ron, so it'll be a fun time. But the big thing I would say for me is, one, if you're brand new, don't worry, you're doing fine. Keep practicing and then come back and see Dina more because she's awesome.
Thank you.
Did I answer your questions, Dina?
Yeah, go ahead and call on the next person.
All right, Jeremy's next.
Hello, my name is Jeremy. I live in Bloomington and I am at graduate school here. And I also am an engineer at a radio station. So that takes up a good chunk of my time. I'm here to learn Hebrew because I'm kind of on track for conversion, but also I don't know, I love the language. I took a lot of different languages in undergrad. I also studied literature and rhetoric. And this is something it's kind of hard to try to learn it on your own. You kind of need a class to help you out, kind of, and motivate you a little bit, and and work with other people. So I'm excited to be here.
Okay. Jeremy, you can call on the next person.
The next person on the list is Alyssa.
Hello, I'm Alyssa. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
I'm 20. And I just decided to take Hebrew because I'm also on the track of learning about Judaism and possible conversion. And I have never really learned a language before Spanish in school, and I wasn't too good at that. So I'm excited to try better and to learn Hebrew. The next person that can go is Grace.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a 23-year-old art student at Butler. I'm learning Hebrew because I'm also seeking the path of conversion.
Okay.
Let's see. I would like to call Mark.
Hello, my name is Mark Crodel. I'm I guess we're doing ages, so 41-year-old from Jasper, Indiana. I've lived in the Indianapolis area for about 15 years, up in Westfield. Graduated from Indiana University. Reason I'm in the class is I'm on the path to conversion. My wife is Jewish. My children, it's funny, my 6-year-old daughter is also learning Hebrew. So she's been grilling me on questions. So my goal is to learn enough to be dangerous. And who hasn't gone yet? I'll go with, is Alyssa, or you've already gone? Vicky?
Yeah, I can go. Everybody can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I have my camera off because I just adopted a puppy and he is a bit of a terror at the moment. Hey everybody, I'm Vicky and I just moved to Indiana a couple months ago. I got a position as an assistant professor at DePauw and I teach theater there. So I'm new to Indiana. So I live in Greencastle. And let's see, why am I in the class? I was raised culturally Jewish without a lot of education. So my goal is to improve my understanding and pronunciation of Hebrew. Thanks. Oh, has anyone not gone? I don't know, actually.
I think Paige hasn't gone.
Paige is up.
Hi, my name is Paige. I am originally from Philadelphia, but my husband and I moved to Indianapolis about 2 years ago. And the reason why I am learning Hebrew is because I'm also planning to convert to Judaism.
And I think the last person is Ashlyn, right?
Yeah, I'm Ashlyn, I'm 21. I'm a welder and a student at IUPUI. I'm learning Hebrew for the conversion class also.
Okay. All right. So great. I think we heard from everybody. Anybody who hasn't gone? Okay, so let me tell you how the class is structured. So I know that I sent you all the book Lashon HaKodesh. I mean, I sent you the link to it. So you do have the online link. And I know, I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at it or not, but I can actually share my screen and you guys can actually take a look at it. Now, there is a hard copy of it. If you had a chance to purchase it from Beth-El, that's great. The reason why I provided both is that some people, you know, likes the hard copy. They can actually write in the book. So it's, if you don't purchase one and you're okay with the online version, that's okay with me too. It's just entirely up to you. So this is the book that we're going to be using, Lashon HaKodesh, and we'll get to that. Let me talk to you about Hebrew and how the class is going to be structured a little bit. So first of all, I don't know if you know, you don't know, but Hebrew was a dead language for 2,000 years. What do I mean by dead? I mean by dead is that it was not spoken. However, it was very, very active as far as scriptures, the Torah, the Talmud, the Siddur, the prayer books, everything was done in Hebrew. Till today, it doesn't matter which country we come from and where we are from, most people pray in Hebrew. Most people read the Torah in Hebrew. We do not use any other language in any country that you're going to go to that we will not be using. When you go to a synagogue, that it will not be used in Hebrew. Now, what the focus of the class is going to be is more about the reading of it. So when you go to synagogue, you will be able to read the prayers in Hebrew. And you will also be able to read Torah in Hebrew. Okay, that's the goal of the class. As far as conversational Hebrew, I will probably not teach you too many, we will not have time for conversational Hebrew, just to be realistic. We have only 1 hour, which one, and again, if you've ever tried to learn a language, 1 hour is really not enough. You do need to use some times at home to practice on your own. And I do encourage you to go to services, because when you go to services, you're going to hear the prayers, you're going to hear them over and over and over again, and then you'll be able to recognize them and know them. So I encourage you to do that. Fortunately, we live in an era that there are so many online resources. So If you are proactive, you can go on YouTube. There are lots of things that you can learn about Hebrew, lots of Hebrew songs, the prayers. I mean, if you go on YouTube and you type any kind of prayer, you will be able to hear it over and over and over again. If you go to Beth-El, to our webpage, we do have the recording of all of my classes from before. You can listen to that to review. We're also going to put the recording of this class for you, so you will have that. You also will have recording of Kent and Melissa of the prayer, so that's again for you, more of a resource for you to use. Hebrew is actually not very difficult to read. It's actually very easy to read in a way, because Hebrew we read phonetically. So you put the letter or the consonant and the vowel and you put it together. So you take B and A and you put it together and becomes Ba. Very easy. It's actually much easier than English. However, when we read Torah without vowels. And that's what makes it very difficult. In actuality, they say that Hebrew, or okay, let me put it this way. We are the most literate people, obviously, because of our literacy rates. But what I'm going to say is that the way we are very literate people is that we do not read, once we remove the vowels, we actually do not read letters and consonants. We read context. So that's what makes us very, very literate in a way, because it's not just putting the word, it's actually learning what's before and what's ahead of it for us to be able to put it together. And that's how we are able to read without vowels. So that's what makes us very literate people too. Okay? I don't know if it makes sense to you. I'll explain that to you in a way. So if, let's say, the word book, okay, the word book in English, B-O-O-K, you have to spell book, B-O-O-K, to know that it is book. Now in Hebrew, we take the letters, the word book, and we remove the vowels. And now you have only consonant, B-K, and then you have to make sense. If these two letters mean book, count, told, story, because there's so many meaning to just these three consonants. So that's what makes it very difficult for us to know. Okay, so what I'm teaching you today, or what I'm going to be teaching you, is actually how to read letters and vowels. So when you look, most prayer books do have letters and vowels. It's only when you get to the Torah that they remove the vowels, and then you have to practice and study it. That's what's going to happen. Okay, so that's okay. That's a goal that you may want to have much, further down the line, not necessarily now. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so Kelly wrote, I guess she sent it to me. Read is a great example from English because you need to know if it's past or present to say it correctly. Exactly. That's another example. All right. Clear? Okay, so the other challenge that we have is that Hebrew is read from right to left. Okay, so let me show you something. We're going to talk about this first. The way we read Hebrew, where did I put that? Is, let me put this, and let me share my screen. Sorry, I know it takes a minute for me to sometime. So the way we read Hebrew, this is the letter Alef, and this is the vowel A. So we kind of like look from up down. So you need to recognize the letter and then the vowel. And this vowel, this little T, is A. So this makes it A. Now, in Israel, we only have 22 letters. It's actually 22 letters. For people that learn Hebrew as a foreign language or second language, there are actually a lot more letters. So if we count in here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 4, 6, 8, 30, 32 letters. And the reason why we have it as more letters in English than in Hebrew is that, let's say in Hebrew, we have one letter for bet, but we combine it to bet and vet, and I'll get to that later on. We also have final letters. So this is just kind of background. And I am going to say to you the letters, okay, the Hebrew Aleph Bet. I'm going to share, and I'm going to send you a song that you can listen to just to learn the Hebrew Aleph Bet. The great thing about Hebrew is that the name of the letter is actually the sound of the letter. So when I say Aleph, it's A. Bet is B. Gimel is G. Dalet is D. Hey is H. Vav is V. Zayin is Z. Chet, Ch, Tet, T. Yud is like Y. This is Kaf, K, Chaf, Ch. Lamed, L. Mem, M. Nun, N. Samech, S. Ayin is A. Pei is P. Tzadik is T. Kuf is K. Resh is R. Shin is Sh. And Tav is T. Okay? So these are the letters. I don't expect you to remember all of it in one go, because I went through it very, very, very fast. Okay? Okay, any questions so far about anything that I said?
Is that in the book?
No, this is not in the book. This is just me giving you some
Okay.
background. Okay, so I do have a link. One second. I'm going to share this with you. This is the Aleph Bet song. And again, you can find it on YouTube. This is just for you to learn the Hebrew Aleph Bet. Oh, actually, I didn't share my sound. Please let me know if you can't hear it. Am I going too fast? Just tell me to slow down if I'm going too fast. So this is the Aleph Bet song. And this was written by Debbie Friedman. This is just fun.
While we're here in Hebrew school, we're going to have some fun and sing the Hebrew alphabet, a song for everyone. It's going to be quite simple, 'cause all you'll have to do is sing the letters after me, then I'll sing after you. Aleph, Bet, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Pei, Tzadik, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Sin, Kaf. Let's learn the alphabet, simple as it can
Okay, so I can send you, I'm going to send you the link and you can actually listen to it at home so that you can just practice the alphabet. The reason why you want to hear the letters is that for you to remember that the name of the letter, let's say if I do bet, because this is the letter we're going to learn today, bet, it's the B sound. So if you know that it is bet, B sound, it's easier for you to remember. Okay, so we're going to get started with our book. Now, the way the book is structured is we do not start with the letter Alef. We're not going in order. Okay, so it will be a little bit different because there is a particular way that we teach the letters and the vowels, and we will not start with the letter Alef. We're actually starting with bet, but we're not going to go Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. That's not the way it's going to be. Okay. All right. So let's go to the book. And I'm going to share the screen again. All right. So we'll start from the very beginning. So these are the letters that we are learning today. Okay. And the letter that we are learning today is Shin. Shin has the sh sound. Bet has the B sound. Tav has the T sound. Okay. Now, this is the way it looks in your textbook, or when you look at the prayer books. This is the font that we use. However, when we write it like a stick figure. So the letter Shin, we will write it like this. And remember, there has to be a dot here on the right. This is how we write the letter Shin. Okay. The letter Bet, we write it like this, a line like this. We go down and we go across like that, and we put a dot in the middle. This is Bet. So Shin has the SH sound. Bet has the B sound. Sorry if my handwriting is not perfect. B sound. And then the letter Tav, it's the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet with the dot or without the dot. The dot doesn't make a difference. It's still the sound of T, T. So you need to remember that when you look at your textbook or the Siddur or whatever, the Shin is going to look like this, the Bet is going to look like this, and the Tav is going to look like this. All right? Any questions so far? Questions? Okay. Then we have the vowel. The vowel comes under the letters. This is the vowel A. So actually in Hebrew, there are 5 sounds of vowels, 5 sounds. A, E, O, and U. 5 sounds. A, E, O, U. In English, there are more than 5 sounds, right? Because you have A, and you have A, right? And you have E and I. In Hebrew, it's always long. A, E, O, U. In English, you have short vowels. In Hebrew, it's always long. So we have A. So this little line, A, and the other one, like a T, small T, is still A. And both of them, I mean, all vowels will come under the letters. So if I take the letter Shin and I put this one line over here, now it becomes what? What will it be now? If I take sh and a, now it will be what?
Shah.
Sha, exactly. Sha. And the same thing if I put the little T in here, it's still, what will it still be? Still a
Sha.
sha. It doesn't change. Sha, sha. Okay, I take the letter bet. I put the vowel a. Now it will become what?
Ba.
Ba. Very good. And again, even if I put the little T, it is still what?
Ba.
Ba. Very good. And then I take the letter tav, which is T. If I put my little line in here, it will make it what?
Ta.
Ta. Very good. Ta. And even in here, it will still be what?
Ta.
Ta. It doesn't change. The dot in the middle doesn't change it. And this will be, the little T here will still make it what?
Ta.
Ta and
Ta.
okay, very good. You all get it. Anybody has questions?
No.
All right. Anybody questions? All right. I'm moving on to the next page. Yes, you good? All right. Okay, so let's look at the letter shin. So, Ron, what would this be? Can you see what I'm pointing to? You're muted.
Sha.
Mm-hmm.
Sha.
Okay, very good. Page, line 1. Very easy.
Sha sha. Sha sha. Sha sha. Sha sha. Sha sha.
Okay, very good. Got it? Any questions? All right. So now we're going to talk about the words in here. So again, I don't know, you may know them and you may not know them, but that has to do with these words. So shofar, we say shofar even because when we say the word shofar, we all know what we're talking about. So shofar, it's the horn that we blow during which holidays? Do you know which Jewish holidays?
Sana.
Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So the reason why we blow the shofar, there are a few reasons why we blow the shofar. One is to call everybody, right? You know, like to wake up everybody, to call everybody. So we blow the shofar. The other reason why we blow the shofar, it has to do with the binding of Isaac, the story in the Bible, the sacrifice of Isaac. Do you know what I'm talking about? So Abraham was asked by God to sacrifice his only son. And, you know, at the end, the angel of God told Abraham, no, not to do that. But then there was a ram and the ram's horn were stuck in the bushes. And then Abraham ended up sacrificing the ram. You all know that. So when we blow the shofar, and by the way, we also read the story of binding of Isaac during Rosh Hashanah. We want God to remember our father, who is the patriarch Abraham, of how loyal and faithful he was to him. This is a way of us showing how faithful and loyal we are to God. So we want him to remember our fathers and us at the same time. So that's why we blow the shofar. Okay. Okay, then we have the word shalom. So shalom means what?
Hello. Goodbye and peace.
Right. So I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm also going to talk about the word Shabbat. I'm going to talk about Shabbat in a minute. Okay. I'll give you some background about Shabbat. All right. Now, if some of this information is, you already know it and it's redundant and you just want me to move forward, just let me know. Okay. But I do want to add context to the Hebrew. Okay. All right. So are you ready to move on from Shah? We good? All right. Okay. So then we have the letter. Let's see. Grace, what is this letter?
Sorry, one second. I was getting to my computer. It is
Oh, what's the sound of it? If you don't remember the letter, that's fine. What is the sound of it? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember the sound.
Okay, that's good. It's actually the
Bah.
B. So it's bet, a B, okay? So if I add this vowel, Grace, what would this be now? Right here. So this vowel is A, so this would be what?
Bah.
Ba, exactly. Now, they also added this letter that's called Hey. The name of the letter is Hey. Hey. Hey has the kind of like the H sound. However, when it is at the end of a word, it's silent. It's like it's not there. And this is how we write hey in stick figure. Hey. Okay. So Mark, read line 1.
Ba, bet.
No, it's still ba because the vowel
Okay.
is
Oh, yeah. So ba, ba.
So
Ba,
remember the hey is silent, so it's ba again. Very good.
ba, 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 ba.
Okay, perfect. So you all got it that the hey is silent, right? You all got it? Okay. Paige, read line 2.
Ba, ba,
No,
ba,
ba. What's the
Oh.
second one? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
ba, sha, ba, sha.
So that will
Bash?
be bash. Very good, because there is no vowel there. Bash. Very good. Uh-huh.
Ba, shaba,
Mm-hmm.
ba, sha.
Okay, very good. Let me see who else I have here. Ashlyn, line 3. Now, if you do not want to read, you don't have to. I don't want to put you on the spot, you know. So it's okay. I mean, I'm just saying this for everybody. If you don't want to read out loud, that's okay. It's up to you.
It's fine.
3.
Bash, shab, ba,
Mm-hmm.
bash, shaba, ba, or
So it would be baba.
baba, shaba.
Okay, very good. Very good. Alyssa, number 4.
Number 4 starts
Yeah.
with sha, and then sha again, and then sha,
Mm-hmm.
and then ba, and then ba, then sha ba,
Mm-hmm.
and then ba sha, and then sha ba.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay, any questions, anybody? We're moving on to the next letter. Okay, so this letter is what? Vicky, what's this letter? I hope I'm getting to everybody because I want to make sure that I get to everybody.
That's Tav.
Uh-huh. And the Tav has what sound?
T.
Uh-huh. Very good. Okay. Line 1, Kelly.
Ta, 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 tosh.
Okay, got it. All right. And line 2, Ron.
Ta, ta, sha, ta, ba, bat, ta,
Okay, and line 3, Jeremy?
Ta, 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 ta. Or is it, yeah, ta and ta.
Tat. It will be tat.
Ta. Yeah, yeah. Ta and ta.
Okay, line 4. Did anybody not read? Am I missing anybody? Okay, did everybody read? Okay, so let's say Ashlyn, number 4. Okay, Vicky, you want to read line 4?
Sure. Shot,
Mm-hmm,
Tosh,
mm-hmm,
Tasha,
mm-hmm,
Shata,
mm-hmm.
Bat, Shabbat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Okay, so the other word, the one word that I want to talk about in here is actually called bima. Have you heard of the word bima?
No.
No? Okay, so in the synagogue, and I don't know if you've been to a synagogue or not, you know, the bima is kind of like the stage. It's where we kind of go up, where we pray. And that is where so we go to the bima to read the Torah, to read from the Torah. So this is where the cantor and the rabbi are normally at the bima. So have you been to Beth-El, to the synagogue? Have you been there? Okay. So, you know, we have the seats, and then you remember there is those steps that you go up where the ark is. This is called the bima. That's the area. Okay, you all good? You all understand what I'm talking about? All right. Okay, the next words that are in the book that you should know is Torah, right? The Torah. I mean, so in Hebrew, we say the stress is on Torah, it's Ra. We say Torah, but it's actually Torah. So the Torah is the 5 books of Moses. It's not the entire Bible, it's only the 5 books. And the Torah is written on a scroll. And it has to be, the scroll is made out of a kosher animal skin. And there is a whole process to make it. And then the Torah is actually written by a scribe, and it's written by hand. So the scribe uses a quill and black ink to write it. Before he begins writing, he actually says a blessing. When he or she does the writing, they have to read every word as they write, okay? And it is more like calligraphy if you've never seen the process. The other thing that I want to talk about is tapuach, apple. And the reason why they mention apple here, because for Rosh Hashanah, we eat apples and honey to represent a sweet new year. And the next thing that we talk about is tefillin. And maybe we'll talk about it some more. And I don't know if you've ever seen somebody wearing tefillin. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Sorry. Let me show you this. And I don't know if you've ever. So this is when a person, I'll share my screen, wearing tefillin. And I'll talk to you some more about it, why we do it. There is the prayer, you shall love the Lord your God in here and in this box. And this is normally the tefillin. Traditionally, it was mainly done by men, but now obviously women are doing it too. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is Shabbat. So let's talk about Shabbat. And in your book, they talk about the root, and I'll get to that. So the word Shabbat means to rest, to take a break. It means to strike. Okay, Shabbat. It has to do with creation. So God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. He took a break, Shabbat. Okay. Now, there are two commandments that are related to the word Shabbat. One is Zachor, to remember, and one is Shamor, to observe. So in the book of Exodus, it says, remember the Sabbath day to sanctify it. So we need to remember it. And then we have to observe it. And in the book of Deuteronomy, it says, observe the Sabbath day to sanctify it. So what does it mean to observe it? Work is forbidden on Shabbat. We're not allowed to work. Lighting fire and extinguishing fire is also one of the, basically one of the, a form of creative labor. So we do not do that. And that is the reason why Orthodox Jews do not drive on Shabbat or light fire or cook and all of that. So it depends how observant you are. Some people may drive on Shabbat. Some people may still light, you know, turn on the lights or watch TV. But really Orthodox Jews and observant Jews do not do any of this. So that's because it's one of the things that is forbidden. So on Shabbat, so the reason why we spend a lot of time talking about Shabbat is if you look at Jewish history and what kept us as people and what kept our culture is actually Shabbat. And in Shabbat, there is some things that we do. So the first thing we do is we light candles. That's the first thing that we do. And this is the way, this was traditionally done by mothers and daughters. But now, of course, again, men are involved in that too. And the reason why we light candles is actually our way of bringing light, welcoming the Shabbat, and doing all of that. There is a blessing that we say. And I don't know if you know the blessing, but I'm going to say it to you, and then maybe we can repeat. Now, most blessing begin with these 6 words. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. So we can all try and say it together. We all ready? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Hello.
Yeah, so these are the first 6. Now, when we say Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, who sanctified us with his commandments, this is actually a commandment that's from the Torah. Okay? So we add Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat, to light a candle for Shabbat. Okay, so this is the first thing that we do. The next thing is called Kiddush. Kiddush means to sanctify, to make something holy. So then we make the wine holy. So that's the Kiddush. And then we say this blessing for drinking wine. So before we drink the wine, this is actually the shorter version of Kiddush, and there is the longer version of Kiddush. And it depends on our time, we might get around to it. So the short version is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Okay, so we can all try and say it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Okay.
Hooray, Puri Agafen.
Okay, the next thing that we have on Shabbat before we begin the meal is challah. Challah is this kind of bread, the braided bread. Okay. And this is the blessing that we say. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Okay. So the reason why I'm talking about this, especially the ones who are doing conversion, Shabbat is very, very, very important in Judaism. It's actually what we believe that kept us, that kept, I guess, our religion all these years, because every Friday we remember to do this. We remember to do Shabbat, we observe the Shabbat, and that's what kept us as people. Okay. All right, I'm going to say one more thing. I hope I'm not going too fast. Is that too much? I just need some feedback to make sure this is good.
This is good.
This is okay. It's not too fast. Okay, you let me know if I'm going too fast. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about in Hebrew, one way for you to remember when you look at the prayers, and Hebrew is built on a system of roots and patterns. Roots normally consist of 3 letters. If you know the root, it may make it easier for you to understand more what's going on in the prayer. So this root that has 3 letters, Shin, Bet, and Tav, you have the word Shabbat from it. Okay, but you also have Shabbat, which is rested, and he rested, and sabbatical, and strike. Okay, so if you know these 3 letters, Shin, Bet, Tav, means to rest, to cease, to stop, to strike. It has many meanings to it. Now, when you see the word shoresh, shoresh means root. So what you need to remember is that always in Hebrew, the way it is, there are 3 letters that basically is the root of a word. If you know the root of the word, it's easier for you to understand more what the prayer is all about. So the shoresh, the root, Shin Bet Tav, means cease, desist, or rest. We first encountered this shoresh in the Torah at the end of the account of God's creation of the world. Okay, we're not going to read all of this prayer because it's in Hebrew and all of that. But how do I go down? Just go down here. No. Oi. Okay. So we know in here that God rested on the 7th day. We learn that there is a purpose to the stopping. We become refreshed from the word nefesh, soul, as did God. So that which we cease to do and that with which we busy ourselves on Shabbat point to the recreation of ourselves that only such restful cessation can bring. Our tradition teaches us that it is as though we receive an extra soul on Shabbat, and then how we make the most of that gift is up to us. So I always say, I don't work on Shabbat. And I say, if God took 1 day to rest, I'm taking a day to rest. And I think we all need 1 day a week to rest and reborn. Okay. All right, before we move on. So today we finished lesson 1. What are the letters that we learned? Do you remember?
Shin, Bet, Hi.
Shin, Bet, and Tav, right.
Yeah.
What are the vowels that we learned? Ah, okay. So are you good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we move on to, I'm going to introduce a couple of letters. You can actually start learning them. Oh, by the way, at home, I recommend that you practice the writing. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about a few more letters. We can just start this. We have a few minutes, and then you guys can practice it at home, and we'll continue next time. This is the letter Lamed. Lamed has the L sound. Lamed. L sound. This is how we write it. Line, line, and line like this. This is Lamed. Lamed has the L sound. Then we have the letter Dalet. Dalet has the D sound. And this is how we write it. D sound. Okay. Then we have the letter Mem, which is the M sound, and this is how we write it. Now, we're going to be introduced to some that's called final letters. We have 5 final letters, 5. Final mem will always be at the end of a word. The regular mem will be either at the beginning or the middle, and the final mem will be at the end of a word. And we write it like a box. This is the final mem. So it's a final letter, final. Okay? Final. Sorry, my writing is bad with this, okay? So I'm going to review again. Lamed L, Dalet D, Mem. Sorry, go ahead. I apologize. Sorry. Did you have a question? Okay.
I was on. Sorry.
No, that's okay. All right. So Lamed L, Dalet D, Mem M, and the final mem is at the end of a word. Now, if I take the lamed and I add the vowel ah, what would that be?
La.
La, very good. If I take the letter dalet and I add the vowel ah, what would that be?
Da.
Da, very good. If I take the letter mem and I add the vowel ah, that will be
Ma.
ma. But I cannot add any vowel to the final mem. It will always be m at the end of a word. M. Okay? Always. All right. So I encourage you to review these letters at home. I encourage you to look at what the textbook says about these words. And I don't know if you wrote down next to, let's say, when I looked at shofar, if you wrote down that it is shofar, Shabbat, Torah. If some of you do not know these words, it's good to get familiarize yourself with them, because most of us refer to these words by shofar. So you need to know what shofar is. You need to know what Shabbat is. You need to know what Torah is. You need to know what bima is, because these are words that we don't use them in English. We use them in Hebrew. Challah is challah. I mean, we call it bread, but challah is a very particular bread that we know, challah. Okay? Any questions before we leave?
Yes, I do have one.
Sure.
Did I understand you correctly? Will this be on a tape that we can find it?
Yes. So I recorded it today. It's recorded. And then we're going to post it for you guys to look at.
So how do we, you're going to send that to us?
No, so Jackie is going to put it on the YouTube channel that we have, and you'll be able to see it there.
So what's the YouTube channel? Which one? is
Okay,
it?
so when you go to Beth-El, let me do this. Let me show you. Okay, so let me show you. If you go to YouTube and you even type up Beth-El Zedek and you go here and you subscribe, there should be channels. Wait, where would that be? Oh, videos. Sorry, there will be videos. And you have to scroll down to look for the Hebrew, because these are all videos that we have from Shabbat morning, but there should be some for the Hebrew. Let's say, for example, here, this is the Hebrew. You see but this is last year's. See, Hebrew, you can actually view this. Here is Hebrew. So this is actually towards the end, but I think the first one started on October 3rd. So maybe that would be it. But we're going to post this one on the YouTube channel and you'll be able to see it. Got it?
Yes.
So if you go to YouTube and you do Beth-El Zedek congregation, you should be able to find all of the recordings there.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions? I can try and send you the file because it actually recorded on my computer today because we didn't have internet. So I'm actually at home, but we'll see how we're going to do that. But I'll see if I can actually send it to you. Okay.
Good.
Any other questions?
I have one quick question. which
Sure.
maybe it's not a quick question. So the vowel ah can be written in two different ways. Are there specific instances where one way is written versus the other?
Yes. So there are vocalization rules. Okay, but these are so complicated.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
not
they
a quick
are.
question.
Right. They're very, very complicated, to tell you the truth. I mean, they are. Most Israelis, I have to be honest, do not know how to put which vowel is the correct vowel, because remember, so when you go to first grade in Israel, you learn with vowels. Second grade, you remove all the vowels. So most of us don't even know when we're supposed to put the one line or the one with a T. We don't know because these are all complicated rules. But of course, linguists and people that spend a lot of time studying and all of that, they know the rules. I mean, and I know some of the rules. I just don't think that it's worth your while for me to explain when we put this and that. I do not know all of them very, very well, but I know a lot of them. But again, it's just too complicated to even go through all of that. What's
Got it,
important for
thank
you to know, I mean, really, just remember that when you're reading, and if you see the one line or the T, it's just ah. And that's right now what's important.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to send you the song. I do encourage you to spend time at home practicing the writing, the reading, because it's going to get harder. I'm telling you now, it's going to get harder. So if you want to know the bass very well, you want to, okay. All right. Okay. So before I close, are you okay with me giving you also other content and not just the reading, or do you just want to focus on the reading? Okay.
Good.
All right.
I am adoring that other content.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Okay, perfect. And you can feel free to ask me any questions. If you have any concerns or anything, just let me know. And if you don't have any questions, feel free to leave. I'm going to hang in here for a minute
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
I do have a question here.
Sure. Mhm.
One part of that email that you sent us, it says all the way through until the end of December, and the other one had just 2 days in September, which,
No, we do. Oh, I didn't tell everybody. We do have a class next week.
yes, okay.
I think let me look at it. I don't remember the schedule, but I know that we have, so this is the schedule that I know. So we have a class on the 30th, the 6th, the 13th, the 20th. We do not have a class on the 27th. Then we have one on the 4th and the 11th, I believe.
Okay. See, halfway down that letter, it said 10 occurrences every week. And I
Yeah,
was just-
but we don't have the 27th because it's Thanksgiving, so we are
Okay.
not there.
Okay, well, I've got all this, is fine.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Thank you very much.
You're
Send
welcome.
it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Kelly.
Yes,
Tell me
ma'am.
again how are you? I'm so glad to see you again. Is it okay that it's, I know that you went through it once. Is it okay? Because is it too boring for you?
Actually, well, Russell will join us on the weekends that he's home. He's at work right now. It's kind of boring for him, but for me, oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. I'm finally not the worst one in the class. No, I'm really liking it so far. But I did love your extra content today. And I'm certainly not all the way done, because definitely by the end of the class last time, I was just like not there.
Yeah.
So, but no, I want to be here. So that's why I
Okay.
chose to be here.
Okay,
But it is
great.
nice because I think last time there was a very few people who were taking it for the very first time.
Yes.
And so that's why I wanted to let people know that there is a huge difference between taking it for the very first time and not taking it for the very first time, and to give themselves some grace.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's hard, and it's going to get harder, like you said. I mean, I know that with a lot of my students initially, they're okay with it at the beginning, and then it gets really complicated, and then they get frustrated because it gets more and more complicated. It does. But
You know what?
yeah,
I
anything.
found,
Yeah, go
Huh?
ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I found this app, and it goes. I had to pull it back out. I found so it's what's this one? It says Shalom Hebrew,
Yes.
and it's a different textbook, but it comes with an app, right? And of course, I think it's geared towards younger people, maybe,
Yeah.
but it has actual like lessons in it.
Is there a cost to the app?
So yes, it's like buying the book.
Yeah.
So I had to go through their website and buy the book. But like for your future classes, it's designed to be as a textbook. And one of the things that I have really, really utilized in it, let me go, because I know it's on my phone. Oh, you won't be able to. So like on here,
Yeah.
I can actually touch each one and it says it, right?
Oh.
Or I can record myself reading it and send it to my teacher, which is one of the cool things. So like,
do you want to send me the information about that?
yeah, I'll send you that. But
Yeah.
like that was the game changer for me,
Okay.
because I had to hear it and practice it. And then of course it's a blessing because, I bought that 2 years ago. It's still valid and I can keep coming back to it. Right.
Oh.
So once you bought it, you kind of own it. And that's kind of nice too. But I like that, I like for the teacher portion of it, if I were running the class, I like that it allows me to submit my recording to my teacher.
Okay. And then I have another question. You said that you're doing an aftercare program or after school program. What is that?
Okay. I own Kumon. So you may have, it's international program because it originated in Japan, but it's an after school math and science or math and reading program. So we get students of lots of ages, and we can go anywhere from teaching them to read to teaching them to analyze Shakespeare, right? Like it's a
So is this on, you do it via Zoom or you do it in person?
So it's the majority of my students come in person, but when the pandemic hit, of course, we had to like shake her up. So I actually have several students who still only come via Zoom. And because the program itself is very individualized, and hence why here in my office, I have my curriculum hanging out up here so I can pull my resources. This is not fun. So like, but here the students will do their work on paper, and then we set up the Zoom so that I can watch them do their work on paper.
Okay. And
Right.
then when your students come in Zoom together, do they come together or?
So it's not like a class like this. Okay. It's more of an open study session is a better description for it. So
Okay.
when they come to class via Zoom, what they do is they set up their desk, they have their camera's aimed down at their work. They log in, we do a quick greeting. Then we have several breakout rooms open at the same time. So like one of my Zoom devices is literally at the front of my in-person center so that the kids can see the other kids studying.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And then
So-
how many kids do you have in person?
Depends on the time of the day. But overall, we serve about 150 students.
Okay, and your program is called Kuma? Okay, because
Kuma.
let me tell you why I'm asking you this. I am actually working for a company that has an educational game that develops STEM skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that maybe you might be interested in looking at it to see if that would be a good fit for you. And I don't know if the kids actually sometimes can actually play the game if they have like a free time, and that will help them developing some STEM skills.
We don't really do a lot of free time because that's one of the premises is that once your work is done, you go home.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because we want our students to learn how to be efficient, and the best reward for efficiency is you're done. Right.
Okay.
Like you're done, you go home. And so we don't do a lot of those things, but Kumon's a little bit more hand tied because it's an international franchise. So I do what they say.
Oh, okay.
What national tells me I do.
Okay, so it's called Kuman. Okay, I'm gonna take a look
Kuman.
at that. That sounds really, really interesting. So how do you get your tutors or whoever? How does that work?
So we use a lot of word of mouth. So a lot of our people, so right now, like my kids working for me, at least one of my student or one of my staff is a parent of a student, one is a sibling of a student, one is my best friend's daughter, kind of things. And then actually students, I have two of my staff are past students. One's a current student, right?
Okay.
Because they know the program, they know what we're working on. But my longest term one, we found her on Indeed.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, we found several on Indeed. It's been one of the more interesting things that, because Indeed is like, it's like the haystack, you kind of just give it your best go and hope that it's a fishing. You throw a lot back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of catch and release on Indeed.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay. So it was a pleasure talking to you. I just have to run to Beth-El now, but we will talk some more next time, hopefully. And you know what? Can you send me an email and your phone number on the
Sure.
email and send me the information? That'll be great. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll send you that Shalom Hebrew
Yes.
information too, if I can find it all.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Great.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.